back with the second episode of Fogwood After Hours. There hasn't been a ton of big movement, but a lot of those projects we talked about last week are getting a lot closer. McFly's preliminary EP released and has been out for a couple weeks now, and if you're liking that, then his LP called Are You Paying Attention is coming out in October 28th, and as we mentioned in the last one, the EP and the LP are basically one project. And when we record albums, we tend to write and record 15 to 25 songs and then narrow it down to 10 to 12. So because of that, a lot of good songs kind of get left off, and the EP were a few songs that we really liked and didn't want to just sit on, so we decided to do that kind of in place of doing the typical lead single. So if you like the EP, the LP is even better. Say Name's next. So we had mentioned his LP coming out in October is still on track. I got the test press for the vinyl, and it's been approved, and it's in production. So we should be getting those well in advance of the release date. And as we mentioned with McFly, we for this album, we recorded a lot of songs, and we decided to do the same thing, and we've got an EP with the rejects, as we call it, coming out, and that's coming out in 6 weeks, which is, I believe that'll be coming out on, I think it's the 15th or the 16th of September, and we're really excited about that. So as far as Elise and my album goes, it's still being mixed, so not a ton of movement there. It's not at the front of the queue with our mix engineers, so it'll probably be late summer before we get the mixes and masters back, and then pressing it on vinyl and all of that'll take some time. But as soon as we have a better idea of when we think it'll be released, we'll report more. But that's where that is. Our EDM duo Looksies album being mixed currently, which I believe that's at about 80%, and we're excited. I think that'll be our first big release with them. They did a lo-fi remix album. I'll probably choose a song for that to be in the background, but other than that, they've just done a couple features. This will be their first main project under Fogwood Records, so we're excited to see how that goes. And then we have we just received vinyl from that is Don't Talk About, sorry. We have vinyl. You'll hear more about that soon. The other thing, so Fogwood City, we mentioned our app that's coming out. It's Nick and I have made a lot of progress on it, and I think that'll be rolling out this month. I would say we're probably about 95%. We just have some kind of last minute issues to work out before we're comfortable having it out, dealing with security and notification permissions, small things like that. But I think we're going to have that ready by the end of the month, hopefully. All right, and that leads us to Patreon. We've kind of recently really started looking more into having that be more active. I think the reason we've kind of neglected it in the past is that, in our view, we kind of saw Patreon as more of a paywall to get extra content. And I don't know, we just didn't feel like we wanted to do that. I don't want to hold things behind a paywall from fans. Instead of doing that, what we're doing now is we just have two membership options. You can join for free, or we have just a small $5 a month one, and there's no difference between the two. It's really just if you feel like you want to support us and help us to be able to move quicker on a lot of these projects, then there's the option to do that. But we want our fans to know how much we think of them, and we're not trying to squeeze cash out of you for behind the scenes stuff or whatever. Definitely go over there and join. We're going to, like I said, we're going to be putting a lot more effort into it coming up. So we're kind of thinking that'll be a really good kind of one-stop shop area. we'll have these updates up there. We'll probably do them a little bit more regularly there. We'll have more detailed early looks and previews of kind of what we're doing, especially the app. There is a way to see it right now. So there's that. Of course, like most people do behind the scenes, we'll try to do interviews or, us working on demos, things like that, that if you find that interesting. And also just whatever you think. We plan on doing a lot of like community polls to see what you would find interesting seeing, because we do a lot here when we make the music, and usually just see the music and maybe a music video and it's the finished product. So if there's more you want to see, or maybe ways to be involved potentially, that's a place where you can have your voice heard. You can kind of help shape how we grow that as well. So anyway, that's kind of where we are right now. Like I said, next time I think we'll be speaking about that vinyl that I wasn't supposed to bring up in this one, and then we'll have a couple more dates ready for some of these, and hopefully one other thing. But anyway, as always, thanks again, and we'll talk to you soon. So, Fogwood After Hours, episode 2.